Okay, I'm seeing that it's live on YouTube. Also seeing that it's live on Facebook. So I will double check here that that is accurate. Okay. Perfect. This is showing up. In the interest of time, we're going to go ahead and get started as people are starting to come back on with us. We've been doing this since 11 a.m., so I know people are trying to take a break in between things, and we'll see this. And whether you see this in the evening, tomorrow morning, or this afternoon, I wish you well, and I hope that your day is running smoothly. And I thank you for taking the time to get to learn more about our candidates. Our candidate broadcasts are a way for you to get to meet these candidates individually, to learn more about them, and to hear what their perspective is on a few different issues that we'll be sharing their way. There is a comment section on this video, and that is a section that we encourage you to engage with us on. You can type in any pleasantries that you want to share, any quick remarks. Know that if they're abrasive or really extremely unprofessional, I will probably not pull it up. But if it's anything outside of that, then we'll do our part with recognizing you and the time that you're spending with us. If you have questions, you can also type it into the comment section as well. We do have some preset questions. These questions were filtered by our policy group within our organization, so that way we can share them here with our candidates. The candidates have no idea what these questions are. They were not provided these, so they are as new to them as they are to you. The way that this forum works is that there is 1 minute at the 1 to 3 minutes at the start for them to provide an opening statement. Then we'll have 45-second type of rapid fire questions for them to answer, and then we'll do a closing statement at the end. And that's kind of the overall format or the layout of it. There is a share button on this video that I encourage you to hit so others in your network can see that we're live and can join us onto this broadcast. If you're not already liking, following, or subscribing to our page, now is the time to do so you can get information outside of just the campaign and ways that you can engage in the overall community. But I'm very excited because we're almost on the home stretch, and it's not because I don't love this. I do love getting to know all the candidates, but it has been back to back. And so our final two are Adams County Sheriff Office candidates. And today I'm very excited to have with me Mike. Thank you so much for being on here on this broadcast.
Thanks for having me.
I do want to pull up. It looks like we have one quick comment that's come our way. This one's come from Parker. Parker, thank you for tuning in. I also see our board chairman, Brian Dice, tuned in with us as well. Thank you for hopping on to the broadcast, Brian, and for engaging and listening into our forum. So with that, I'll turn this over to you, Mike, to give a quick overview or introduction about yourself so people can know who you are.
Great. Thank you. Thanks for having me. My name's Mike McIntosh. Some people call me Mac. I've been in law enforcement now for 35 years, and I spent 31 of those years with the Adams County Sheriff's Office. After spending a tour of duty in the Navy, I came back to Colorado and started with the Adams County Sheriff's Office in 1988, and had the opportunity to work as a deputy on the jail floor. And through my career with the Sheriff's Office, was able to work in every division within the Sheriff's Office and in almost every position within the Sheriff's Office. Those tours included patrol, detectives, SWAT, and then into supervision as a lieutenant, a captain, a chief. And the last 4 years that I spent with the Adams County Sheriff's Office, I was the elected sheriff in Adams County. And I would tell you that having done that and worked in Adams County for 30 years, I'm really excited about running for for sheriff again and getting back into the office to be able to just to be able to move the agency forward once again.
Well, thank you so much for that quick overview. It does look like our Mayor McNally, is on this broadcast with us, giving you a quick thank you for running or seeking office. She also says we need Mac back. So it looks like you've got a couple of constituents out there that are supporting you and your campaign. I also see with us Christina. I don't want to lose sight of you. Thank you for tuning in to our broadcast. Let's move on into our rapid fire questions, if that's okay with you. Let's see here. Sorry. This always freezes up on me. Like as soon as I say that, it's like it'll think. So the first question is, what do you plan to accomplish in the first 30 days, and then the first 90 days?
Great question. The first 30 days is really going to be setting a new policy, and it is also going to be setting the command staff and the team within the sheriff's office to start to accomplish the things that we need to do. The other very critical piece that will be accomplished in the first 30 days is setting the vision and the mission and the values of the office for the next 4 years. Within the first 90 days, by that point, we will be really out and seeking community engagement. I've already identified a chief of staff that's going to be involved in community engagement and really bringing community back into the Adams County Sheriff's Office.
Excellent. Thank you for that answer. What is the number one thing that needs to be changed in the sheriff's office?
I think that it all starts with leadership. That's the most significant thing that we can do, is provide very strong, very proven, very trustworthy leadership within the Adams County Sheriff's Office once again.
That actually parlays into one of the questions that I had over here, which is what type of leadership will you bring to the sheriff's office? So similar but different.
Yes. With that leadership, I think that the leaders within the top of the organization need to be collaborative. I am a very collaborative type of person, and that correlates directly to my leadership style. I think that it's critical in the times that we are in that we bring as many resources to the table as we can to combat the several issues that the Adams County Sheriff's Office, our community, and public safety is facing.
Yeah. How would you address the rise in crime?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, the things that we need to do is back to that, leading through that and the collaboration part of that. This is going to take an entire community as well as our partner agencies. And that's why it's so important to collaborate with Westminster and North Glen and Thornton and Commerce City, because we're seeing a lot of the same things. We're going to need to work together with our community members to bring crime back down in Adams County.
How would you improve how the department deals with people with mental disorders?
It's I currently sit and have sat on the Community Reach Board, which is the mental health provider in Adams County. I've been a part of that board for about 12 years. I was also instrumental in getting built a mental health pod within our jail. And that was in collaboration with the Board of County Commissioners as well as the Community Reach Center to make sure that we were taking care of those with mental illness inside our facility. There's that continuity of care that needs to happen. If they're outside the jail, when they come inside the jail, they still need to receive those services. And then when they leave the jail, they need to have a plan for success going forward. So bringing Community Reach back into our jail to deal with and help us address the mental health issues in our community is what I plan to do.
Thank you. I see Wayne on here and Jean. Thank you both for tuning in with us. This next question asks you if you consider yourself to have good morals and an integrity, and why.
I I do consider myself to have good morals and integrity. I have always held that as a very high standard for myself. I think that I have a very proven track record. Uh, Anybody can sit there and tell you that they do. And so I guess in a situation like that, my encouragement would be, um, as the former sheriff from 2015 to 2019, anybody that knew me then knew me to be of good moral and have good integrity. I'm currently the chief deputy in Douglas County, running support services and the jail down here in Douglas County. Again, the sheriff down here would not have put me in charge of his jail, nor in charge of his support services if I wasn't one that had good morals and integrity.
What do you feel is the duty of the sheriff's office?
First and foremost, it's to serve the community, and I think that we've lost our way in that we don't have the community involvement. So in order to serve the community, we need to be involved in the community. We need to be listening to what it is that they are telling us, what the role of the sheriff's office is in their specific community. By state statute, you will see that I have to run a jail. I'm the fire warden, believe it or not. I'm responsible for public disorder in the unincorporated parts of Adams County. So there's statutorily a lot of roles and responsibilities for a sheriff in a sheriff's office, but collectively together as the sheriff's office, it really is to serve our community and serve them well.
The position of sheriff requires tremendous leadership ability, as we've emphasized earlier on. How have you developed your leadership skills throughout your career?
Yeah, I've had the opportunity to, as I've risen through the ranks, to be able to attend the top leadership, law enforcement leadership schools. So Northwestern School of Police Staff and Command, it's a 2-week school or a 10-week school. I attended that as a lieutenant. Then I had the opportunity to go to the FBI National Academy, which is a very select few throughout the world. It's a worldwide academy that has representatives from law enforcement throughout the world. I was able to attend that 3-month academy at Quantico, and I was also able to attend a program that's called LEADS, which is Law Enforcement Executive Development. That was a 2-week course that also was back in Virginia, that was put on by the University of Virginia. So I've been able to attend leadership courses in that are specific to law enforcement, as well as I've been out of the office of sheriff. I'm in the number 3 position in the Douglas County Sheriff's Office, so I'm still up to speed and still attending courses and classes to stay on top of the latest that's coming out that faces law enforcement organizations.
Absolutely. What will you do to improve transparency from the sheriff's department?
Transparency, as we know, is critical, and it's again not just a word; it's an action. One of the things that we have recently done, the campaign team that we have assembled, we have started a group that's called Action, which is Adams County Transparency in Our Neighborhoods. We have our next meeting next Monday night, and it's bringing community members throughout the entire Adams County, which is a very diverse county. It's bringing them together to talk about the issues that are happening in their communities. I feel very, very motivated to get back into the community here in Adams County. So motivated that I'm already starting to meet with community groups so that on January 10th, when I take office, we can move right into establishing those groups and making sure that we're doing the right things at the right time to to help public safety in our neighborhoods.
Thank you for that one as well. What are the primary crime-related issues in Adams County?
As we all have heard, I'm sure in the papers, that one of the biggest issues facing Adams County is auto thefts and fentanyl. And the nice part about still being in law enforcement is that's something that we're dealing with here in Douglas County. And I think that if you were to look at the crime and the way that it has auto theft has decreased in Douglas County, it's because the sheriff down here has put together a comprehensive plan to combat auto theft in Douglas County. He's made that a priority. The same would be true of fentanyl. Sheriff Spurlock has been very, very involved in the legislation around fentanyl and making sure that we are doing everything that we can as law enforcement to be heard and be a voice with our legislators. I have the advantage of taking that now to the north and applying some of those same practices and principles. Obviously, a little bit different in Adams County because culturally, the makeup and the diversity of Adams County is a little bit different. But it is a plan that we can utilize going forward to really start to get on top of the fentanyl problem as well as the auto theft problem.
That answer that you just gave actually touches on a question that we had, and an audience member asked us the same question as well. So I'm just going to pull up theirs instead of typing it out myself. They're sharing that over the past few years, the community members, especially in minority communities, have lost a trust in law enforcement. And what will you do to help regain that trust?
Yeah, I would tell you that I felt like I had a great relationship with the minority communities in Adams County when I was the sheriff. I have already been meeting with some of the minority communities, specifically the Hmong community, as well as the Hispanic community. I've done a couple of different interviews with the Hispanic communities when it comes to first getting my name back out there and kind of reminding them of who I am and what it is that we accomplished when I was the sheriff. So we've partnered together to be able to put information out on the Hispanic radio and hopefully here soon on some Hispanic television stations. And then I've also been in communication with some of the elders in the Hmong community. Again, we had a great relationship, just reestablishing those relationships so that when I take office in January, we can get right to work.
Thank you for that question, Parker, and thank you for that answer. Here's another question for us, and that is, what is your view of alternatives to incarceration? So there are programs like the mental health or addiction treatment programs as a way of promoting public safety.
Yeah, I can tell you that I'm a huge fan of any alternative to incarceration to an extent. And when I say to an extent is when those seem to no longer be working because people don't want to follow those alternatives or if they're in diversion, they don't want to follow the treatment plan or the addiction treatment plan. Sometimes the last resort is to put that person into jail to keep our community safe. I think that we've gone a little bit too far with the PR bonds that the judges have been giving. We need to have a holistic approach. One of the things that I had that I will bring back into the Adams County Jail is a jail population manager. And that's really somebody who looks specifically at the population within the jail and really tries to ensure that we have the right people in jail. And if there's folks that are in jail that would be better suited in a diversion or in a treatment program, then we're going to move them in that direction as opposed to keeping them incarcerated. So it's very expensive to house somebody in a jail, very expensive to run a jail. Any alternatives that we can have and still ensure public safety, I am all for those.
Well, thank you for that. You actually ended up answering a couple of questions that I did not even ask you with your answer. So it worked out perfectly because we're already at the 20-minute mark. Believe it or not, this went by incredibly fast. And what I always like to do is to give listeners an opportunity to hear from you some closing statements or things that you may not have been able to get across through my Q&A section. And so if I can turn this over to you for a couple more minutes to share with folks why, anything else that comes to mind that you were hoping to get across.
Sure. I think that in this particular election, it really comes down to making sure that we put somebody in the sheriff's office that's ready to go to work on January 10th. Our crime numbers, our lack of involvement in community has reached a point to where if we don't get on top of that soon, it's going to get so far out of control that it's going to bring us along. It's going to take a long time to bring it back. My goal here is I've been in that chair. I understand the role of the sheriff. I've established relationships and rapport throughout Adams County to the point that I have the support and the endorsement of the Westminster mayor, the Thornton mayor, the mayor out in Bennett, the mayor in Brighton, the mayor in Federal Heights. They are all supporting and endorsing my campaign. And that's because of the work that we did when I was the sheriff, the collaboration that went on when I was the sheriff and the things that we were able to accomplish. We don't have time to experience a new sheriff in there and hope that that sheriff can get up to speed in the next year or two to start understanding the role of sheriff enough to get on top of crime and to get on top of the community relations that we need to. I've already got a team assembled. I've already got community groups assembled. I've already got the rapport and the relationship with our cities to be able to immediately walk in there and get to work. The other thing that is important is the police chiefs and the sheriffs, the relationship that I have built with them. I have several sheriffs that are endorsing my campaign, as well as former police chiefs. Current police chiefs can't really endorse in campaigns, but I've had many conversations with them, and we are alike in the desire to move in a positive direction when it comes to the issues that are facing Adams County. So I encourage each and every one of you to do your homework, visit my website. It's all about bringing Mac back. That's my website. If you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I absolutely loved being your sheriff for the 4 years that I was, and I'm looking forward to doing that again in January. Vote on November 8th and bring Mac back.
So bringmacback.com is the campaign page for our current candidate, Mike McIntosh. If you're interested in seeing more of his endorsements that he was referencing, what he stands for, the work that he's done, visit this campaign page. These are supposed to be smaller broadcasts so that you can get a quick overview of our candidates and maybe feel a sense of connection or at least spark some interest in learning more about them before you head to the polls. So we encourage you to go to their page directly. And then you can also reach out to Mike at either of these ways, by phone or by email. He's provided us with both. And I encourage you to share this broadcast out to others in your network to learn more about him and his candidacy. I want to thank all of you for tuning in. And I want to thank you, Mike, for coming back on here with me for a second go round today as we were trying to finagle the internet and all the internet and all its problems that it provides us. So with that, I thank you for being here with me, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
You as well. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Pleasure's